all of our team or all the teams in NFC North stand right now after the first week of free agency? And did you have something to say?
Yeah, so let's just start out with what the Vikings have done so far. So first off, after week one, we're 1 week into the legal tampering period. Started last Monday. So basically, at this point, it really does feel like Kirk Cousins will be playing out the final year of his contract, especially with the cap conversion that they did there. Players we brought in: tight end Josh Oliver, defensive end / outside linebacker, pass rusher Marcus Davenport, cornerback Byron Murphy, and defensive lineman Dean Lowry from Green Bay. Alexander Madison is back in the fold. Garrett Bradbury's back in the fold. Oli Udoh, backup swing tackle. Andrew DePaula, Greg Joseph on the special team side. Harrison Smith took a substantial pay cut, remains with the team. Eric Kendricks, Patrick Peterson, Delvin Tomlinson, Adam Thielen all walk. Kendricks obviously ended up back home with LA, the Chargers. Patrick Peterson ended up with Pittsburgh. Delvin Tomlinson to the Browns, I believe. And then Adam Thielen today, signing with Carolina, says they have a legitimate chance to win a Super Bowl. And part of the reason he went there is because of Andy Dalton. All lies, but whatever. Adam Thielen, at this point in his career, he wants, and I think he's basically going after what he said. He wants to get onto a team where he can be the guy. And at this point, it looks like it sounds like they want to bring DJ Chark in. I think he kind of is the guy there. And if he's not the guy, he's going to be 1B with DJ Chark. So
yeah, agreed.
Then obviously question marks. We still don't know the futures of Zadarius Smith as well as Delvin Cook after last week's news. And then just kind of positions of need based, kind of going into the draft and the rest of free agency in no particular order. Wide receiver 2, defensive line, mainly interior, linebackers, corner, and potentially quarterback.
Yeah, and I want to bring this up one more time with the question marks on Zadarius Smith and Delvin Cook. I definitely had the impression that we were supposed to have all that shit figured out on Friday, and we didn't. So I don't know what the hell was with that. Skol TY, what's going on, man? What's going on? Glad to see you in here again. Appreciate it big time, dude. Appreciate it big time. Detroit, Minnesota. So you have Detroit. I'm assuming this is 1-4.
Yeah.
Right, Greg? I'm hoping so. Still Detroit 1, Minnesota 2, Bears 3, Green Bay 4.
I think Detroit and the Vikings are very close after the free agency period so far.
I think,
and this is a big thing right here, though, too.
Skol TY makes a good point here.
Yeah, and that's why, I want to go back to when we were talking to Mike. I know he said everybody in Detroit loves Dan Campbell, but in my opinion, I think the jury's still out. I just don't.
I do too.
I love Dan Campbell for a young team or a team that struggles and he needs to come in and just kind of change the culture in the building. I think he's a great coach for that. I just don't know if he's going to coach the same if a trip to the playoffs is on the line. I don't know. It seems like one of those guys that, again, I think that's more of a, you have to see it. And until I see it, I won't 100% believe it.
Yeah, it would take some ball. I don't doubt him. Like, it would take some balls to go into playoffs and play. You have to coach the way that you always coach.
Right, exactly.
But the thing with him is I love it. I love that what he's doing and his balls when
absolutely
going on fourth down, all stuff. I do, but there's no question where for how often he does that, it's going to bite you in the ass. Going to bite you in the ass at some point. So, and I would say you saw it a lot in his first season last season. Like, I wasn't even sure they were going to keep him around after that first season because they didn't have a good record. And there was definitely some moments where he went for it on fourth down and it did not go their way.
He feels like a bridge. He feels like a bridge coach, kind of like a bridge quarterback. He feels like one of those guys that you keep him there until the team starts to trend upward. And then as the team is trending upward, you bring in a new coach who then you hope continues that climb.
Maybe because I like his coaching. Like, I like the ways if he can just learn how to be a little bit more choosy with that. How he is coaching with house money, who thought he would still be here.
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't have thought after the first year, but after last year, it was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still coaching that same way. So if he can improve in that way next, he could be a fantastic coach, especially since he has the balls to take those chances. He just has to make sure he, maybe he's a little bit more choosy with those, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing. Old school guy, hard nosed, and the players love him. The players love playing for him. He's old and he's like hard school. He's old, hard nosed and old school, but not to the extent that Mike Zimmer was.
Yeah. Like, he's still he has the new leadership approach, kind of like KOC. Like if your players love you like his does, then you're doing something right as a leader, I think, and that's kind of what we see with KOC, and that's something we didn't see as much with Mike Zimmer. And yeah, even though Dan Campbell still has, I don't know, he still has that like just kind of a badass energy to him. I do like Dan Campbell. I do.
Lions regret firing Caldwell, so Campbell might get a couple more years. Yeah, that's very true. The firing of Jim Caldwell just seemed out of place that season. But
Yeah.
what do you do? But anyway, should we jump into our rankings?
Yeah, we'll jump into
Starting
our
off
rankings. Again, everybody who's in here, we got 8 people in here. Hey, everybody liked the video too. Everybody liked the stream. Appreciate that big time. And of course, hashtag skol for Justin Jefferson rookie card. Super easy. Like the video, like you said, and then subscribe if you haven't already.
We're 4 subscribers away from 700.
Yeah,
so.
4 subscribers away from 700, man. So we're so close, and then we're heading towards that road to 1,000. So appreciate it all big time.
Yeah.
All right.
Of course,
anyways,
starting at number 4, the team with the same colors as Waste Management. You have the Green Bay Packers.
All right, let's just take a second to just laugh at this.
Number 4. Number 4. God, I love it.
Look at that. Number 4. 2 play. I don't even know these players. They're 2 players that signed. Look at their loss. They already didn't have wide receivers, and they lost their best one, and then their tight end and Aaron Rodgers probably. Well, yeah, more than likely. Who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah, that's so.
Hey, skol. That's what I'm talking about. See, follow skol. Get on your wives' accounts, get on your friends' accounts, get on everything.
I think every email address can have like 2 or 3 YouTube accounts. So everybody make multiple YouTube accounts. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. It'd be awesome.
Hey, what's going on, David Michelson? Again, hey, man, hashtag skol in the comments for the Justin Jefferson rookie card. We're just talking about the division and our power rankings going into next season. Obviously, there's a lot of offseason left, but after week 1 of free agency.
Right. And I mean, obviously, I think if you grade the moves, Packers are not doing well right now. If they end up trading Aaron Rodgers and getting multiple first-round picks, their offseason will look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know if the Jets want to part with that for maybe a 2-year rental, 2 to 3 year rental. If he wins you a Super Bowl, all worth it. If he doesn't, which that team is probably it's weird to say the Jets are a quarterback away, but they very well might be a quarterback away from being competitive. So,
oh yeah, dude, their young talent is
White
amazing.
And Zach Wilson last season, so
dude, they probably had one of the best drafts I've seen in a long time last season. Like they got future stars at 3 positions, and they still have Johnson. I forgot the defensive end that they got at the end of the first round. I forgot his whole name, but how's that going to work? So let's say Aaron Rodgers ends up, because Aaron Rodgers isn't going back to the Packers. That's pretty clear. So if the other option, at least I wouldn't think so, because the fact that he says he's wanting to go to the Jets, I don't know if he'd retire. But if he did retire, would the Packers just get a 3rd round compensation pick?
No.
They don't? No. If he retires? So they would just get nothing if he retires.
Yep.
Man, that would really be best case scenario, though.
Yeah. So
they're so screwed. And now we really just need Jordan Love to suck.
Yeah.
Hey, skol. The Tanyan signing will be on our list here. I'll just give it up. Who did he sign with? I think the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears.
Bears. He went,
which actually is a nice segue into the number 3 team on our list, and that is, of course, the Chicago Bears. Now, they made a ton of noise to start free agency. Tremaine Edmonds would have loved for the Vikings to grab him.
Yep,
TJ Edwards, DeMarcus Walker, Robert Tonyan, Andrew Billings, Deontay Foreman, of course, trying their best to replace David Montgomery, who will also be on our list later. Deontay Foreman, as well as Travis Homer from Seattle, kind of a duo there. Nate Davis, PJ Walker, and of course, the biggest one from their trade down with Carolina Panthers, they picked up 2 first-round picks, as well as DJ Moore, which is absolutely huge. What they're doing, and then losing David Montgomery, what they're doing this season is, especially with the quarterback class next year, this season is how good is Justin Fields, right? And you bring in a guy like PJ Walker, who, he was a USFL, or which league did he play in?
XFL
standout. Signed with Carolina. They traded him over.
Yeah.
Could he potentially be somebody from behind him pushing him throughout the season with Justin Fields?
I don't think so.
But if he starts to struggle, they're the team the fans are going to be calling for it, right? But this season is all about putting the pieces around Justin Fields, because if you look at that offense, the offensive line is still a bit shaky. They have draft picks though to try to shore that up. But if you look at for any quarterback to have DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, right? Darnell Mooney, that's his name, as well as Chase Claypool, like and a Robert Tonyan at tight end, as well as what's the guy that they already have there? Cole Kmet, like that is a good stable of pass catchers. And running back wise, I mean, obviously losing David Montgomery sucks. The guys they got aren't great. But if let's say they take one of those picks and they draft Bijan Robinson, like they're putting everything around Justin Fields to say.
Don't even say that.
But still, they're putting everything around Justin Fields to be like, you have no more excuses. If you suck this year, you're done. We're drafting your replacement. If we could, like, if the Bears have the number 1 overall pick next year, it's gonna be Williams or May, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. I agree, man. The Bears,
for now, the Bears
they were
lucky
though. I'm still gonna. I mean, just them getting that first overall pick, dude. That is just, man, just a gift. Houston gave them an absolute gift. But even besides that, dude, they were all over the place in free agency, and they might have improved their team more than anybody else there, especially if you include the first round picks and the trade back from their first overall pick. David Michelson. Oh, I want to say Kirk Cousins. We had just talked about Lamar right before you got in here, but Kirk Cousins to the Jets, Lamar here. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. If we did that, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. We'd be going into the season with a whole new style of offense, which would be interesting. But, I mean, Kirk Cousins to the Jets, I'm definitely down for that. I'm definitely down for that.
Bears need no line, no moves there in trouble. Exactly, yeah. They need to be able to protect Justin Fields. Otherwise, he's just going to keep on running. Bears coaching staff, you're ready to read that one. Detroit worries me more than the Bears. I would agree at this point for sure. The Bears just have the future of the Bears looks like, if they're smart, looks like it could be pretty bright there. Jackson and Fields, 2 quarterbacks who can't throw. That's also very comparable as well. And I think I mentioned earlier, the thing I worry about is, what if we make the move with Kirk Cousins first, trade him away, and then we deal with Lamar Jackson, get all the contract stuff taken care of, and then Baltimore's like, okay, we'll take him. We like that contract. We'll just match it, and he's going to stay here. Then we did all, and that's
well, yeah. But then we got compensation for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but still, I would rather not have that be the scenario. But yeah, but then at that point, because it sounds like that's why a lot of teams were out on Lamar, because they didn't want to do the negotiating part for Baltimore.
Baltimore, just for them to come back and be like, all right, we're cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Baltimore really put Lamar Jackson in a fucked up situation, which will be interesting. I can't imagine Lamar Jackson's going. I can't imagine he's plans on ever playing with them again.
Yeah. Why do people want Lamar? He makes too much. I mean, that's also the other point too, especially for someone who doesn't play. It is the upside is exciting. If he could come in and Kevin O'Connell could work on the throwing mechanics or something. I think at this point though, he kind of already is what he is. But he did have something that a new offensive-minded head coach like Kevin O'Connell could do with him. But the people that want Lamar Jackson, the money and the injuries, whatever, it's all the upside. Kirk Cousins is 37. If you want to talk about someone who is what they are, gotcha. Is who they are, we'll go that one. Kirk Cousins is kind of that. Did he get a little better, confidence-wise, moving around a little bit more? Sure. But he, at his core, Kirk is what he is. So, and with Lamar Jackson, there is still a ceiling there that maybe hasn't quite been met yet. He just doesn't have the right weapons or coaching to get there at this point.
That's definitely true. But I want to mention, because nobody wants to talk about it, that Lamar Jackson had an 85.3 PFF grade in passing before, with over 3,000 yards and 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in his MVP season, which was a while ago. But I think Lamar Jackson is a better passer than a lot of people that aren't big Lamar Jackson fans give him. He is not Justin Fields. He is definitely a better passer than Justin Fields, has a bigger arm, better accuracy so far in his career. And he's had a really good passing season. And I think that's worth talking about for sure. As far as Lamar Jackson, if he comes to your team, he's going to be able to use his arm.
But that's the thing. A lot of the NFL is all about recency bias, and recently it hasn't been there.
Yeah, 26 years old. 26 years old. I'd be cool with Lamar.
But also
in the right
RG3 was
spot.
20 coming out of college. Like, oh yeah, he got hurt, but man, if this guy keeps on this trajectory, he's gonna be one of the best quarterbacks ever
Yeah,
play
he
the
got
game.
hurt bad. He got hurt bad.
And then now in the Pro
That's a
Bowl,
good
he's
point.
in
That's
the
a good
Pro Bowl,
point.
he's interviewing Kirk Cousins. So
yeah. Oh man, I don't know if Kirk Cousins is making another Pro Bowl. He might. He's usually in there. We'll see. I think so. We got such a good team around him. The McDandrews, what's going on, man? Giving away Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtag skol in the comments. We have 5 entries. We'll run it regardless of how many people are in there. All we ask is for you to like this live stream and subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff.
Absolutely.
I would take Lamar over. See, that's another one. Murray is a really interesting one too, because we liked him for a bit there, but that's recency bias as well. Like Murray could end up being exactly who he's supposed to be, but this past year was not good for the most part. The beginning of 2021,
when they were undefeated.
Yeah, when they were undefeated, everybody would have traded anything for Kyler Murray. And that's recency bias. You're still talking about a young player who, in Murray's case, it's not like he dealt with an extreme injury. Same with Lamar Jackson. They've never dealt with like an ACL tear or anything like that.
Murray did now.
Oh yeah, until now. Dang, I totally forgot about that. So yeah, maybe now with Murray, but he's not all about the running like RG3 was, where Murray is kind of uses his ability a lot for escaping the pocket and escaping pressure and stuff too. But I don't know what I would do in my own shoes. It would be kind of sketchy for any of those players now, I think.
Absolutely. I would take Lamar.
I would take Lamar over so many players.
I would take just about anything over Dak Prescott. I think
Lamar Jackson's an MVP quarterback, dude.
I think Dak Prescott is vastly overrated. I think like the entirety of Cowboys quarterbacks, a lot of them are overrated.
Just the Cowboys are always overrated.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly.
Pretty much. Same with the Packers.
Being real there.
Especially starting now.
Yeah.
Starting now.
Moving on to number two team we had, of course, it is a Vikings podcast. We will put the Lions at number 2.
It's not because it's a Vikings podcast. It's because the Vikings are the best team in the division.
But the Lions, of course, did make some moves. What was the Lions' biggest issue last season was defense. So what did they do? They went out and they completely revamped that back end. Jeff Okudah had kind of a bounce back season this past season. And all they did was add Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley back there, which is huge. Brought in David Montgomery from the Bears, of course, to go along with DeAndre Swift. Obviously, losing Jamal Williams to the Saints is huge. I feel so bad for DeAndre Swift. He's one of those guys where injuries is kind of tanking his career. So much talent when he plays, he's great. But as of late, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately. So you're going to have the two-headed monster of David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, which I like Jamal Williams more than David Montgomery because Jamal Williams is like a touchdown machine, but I almost feel like Montgomery can do more. Yet Montgomery, like fantasy-wise, Montgomery has never excited me personally. And then obviously bringing back Graham Glasgow. I thought they had him before, keeping that offensive line together. Losing Deshaun Elliott, Jamal Williams, Evan Brown on the offensive line, as well as Chris Board at line.
Yeah, let me do some shout outs here real quick. Yogi, what's going on, man? We're giving away a card again. Hashtag skol in the comments. Nice seeing you back. I saw you pop into Raps when I was on there Thursday.
Actually, Glasgow was drafted by the Broncos.
There's another one. There's another one person.
There's Frank Ragnow on their offensive line.
I feel like there's another one. I was hoping we signed Cam Sutton. I almost called him Sam Cutton. Cam Sutton. Yeah, I would have been happy for that too. Obviously, we need as many bodies as we can get in that defensive backfield. And that's something the Lions went out and they knew what they needed. And they went out and did it in a big way, especially with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who by a lot of people was the number 1 defensive back coming into free agency. I was surprised he lasted as long as he did. But there's the Lions. This was huge. This was huge for the Lions to come in and just figure out their secondary the way they did. And not to mention they have 2 first-round picks plus sorry, sad to say, but our second round pick, even though we got Hawkinson out of it, of course.
But also they did they were at other levels of their defense. Obviously they have what's the kid? I'm drawing a blank for Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson. They have Alex Anzalone at linebacker. They have Houston on the defensive line as well. So that defense, really, their biggest issue is the back end. Like they can get pressure. Linebackers, they have some solid ones. They might need a little more help there, but.
And now, I mean, they're going to have a really good chance to get a guy, one of these three guys in Witherspoon
with 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, Witherspoon, Will Anderson, or possibly Jalen Carter, and any of those 3 players would be able to come in. And my guess is one of them are going to be available, and I think any of those could come in there and make their defense even better. Lions are doing some good shit. I prefer it to be the Lions than the Bears or Green Bay, but still, like we need to be watching them because I don't want them to get too good out here. It's the Lions at the end of the day, so they're gonna.
Well, and that's kind of thing here. Anyways, like, as long as until they prove that they can do it, because we've said, I mean, there's been multiple. You look back to the Matthew Stafford days. There's been multiple Lions teams who are like, man, if this team gets it all figured out, watch out, they're not going to be the Lions anymore. This last season was the closest thing you've had to like that turning point where you start taking the Lions seriously, just because of that run they went on late season
and their off season so far, and to see what they do in the draft, it makes you even have to take them even more serious. Like they're not messing around. They're not messing around.
And after 2 seasons ago, when Jared Goff was playing like shit, after the kick in the nuts of going from Los Angeles to Detroit, I think once now that his attitude's finally kind of turned around, and I think the team's really starting to like him. He was a number 1 overall pick for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I think
Goff played like he did last year. The fact that he played as well as he did last year is really what's. If he played like he did in 2021, to be like, they have so many good pieces, but they don't have a quarterback. Now it's like they have Goff, and he's enough to at least make them probably in the running for NFC North, but for sure a wild card team. And then of course we got Minnesota Vikings.